Finally, before we go this evening, it's time for our resident film expert to share the top movie picks from across Kent. And we'll be diving into AI in films too. Well, Chris DC joins me on the sofa now, the host of the Kent Film Club, to talk us through it all. Chris, how's your week been? Have you been to a theme park?
I have.
Some movie themes there as well, right?
Well, I would, although when you're being catapulted across the sky and going at 100 miles an hour, and you're 180 degrees, I didn't think that was the best research for Kent Film Club, I'll be honest. But when you think about it, think of those rides. I mean, Back to the Future, which I know is one of your favourite films, that was turned into a ride by Universal Studios. When you consider the Star Wars ride, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean, an entire movie based on what was effectively a ride that, well, let's put it this way, you normally queue for a lot longer than the ride itself takes. So it's quite a transition from a theme park ride to multi, and length as well, blockbuster movie.
With these rides, though, do you think they add to, say, Star Wars, Back to the Future? Even Harry Potter has one as well now, doesn't it? Do they add to the franchise, to the universe? Is it canon what happens on this ride, or is it just a bit of fun?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, because my children are huge fans, certainly my eldest twin, of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. So going on all the sort of Velociraptor rides, and they know more about dinosaurs than I do, and of course they get that largely from watching the Spielberg movie and all the various spin-offs. So I think it all helps. I think it helps that sense that going on this ride, it's kind of an educational journey as well as a great foray into the world of movies.
Well, theme park rides based on films have been around for some time, but something we're starting to see in recent years is the use of artificial intelligence, AI, being used to create movies. Now, AI is no stranger to films. I know 2001: A Space Odyssey had HAL 9000. Yeah. So that's been talked about. That was back in the 60s.
Oh, absolutely, late 60s. And you think of even, well, Anthony Hopkins in The Silence of the Lambs based his voice, Hannibal Lecter, on HAL. But I saw that film actually in Blue Water only about a year ago on the big screen. And you're right, it's almost that sense, and we see it in the Terminator movies and Blade Runner in the 80s, that sense of technology, the machines, effectively having more intelligence or being able to outclass or outwit us. So, often when we're using ChatGPT thinking, well, let me just tighten up that sentence or whatever people might use ChatGPT for, in a way there are those questions that cinema's been raising for decades longer about whether machines can be more capable. And of course, what happens when we see it in James Cameron's world of what happens when effectively you get into the world of military operations and literally travelling across time.
Well, we can play a clip on the screen now, which is a film which has been entirely made out of AI. Let's just have a quick look at this. I think this is called Frost. It was on the Sundance Film Festival from a couple of years ago. I'm not sure that was the one you were at. So
sure. I may have been there, because there's so many films that I don't get a chance to watch. But yeah.
You can sort of tell it's AI. It's very cartoon-like, but it's interesting.
It raises all these questions, doesn't it, about whether sometimes even things like scripts, movie scripts, can be written by a computer. And I suppose it's whatever you put into it, really, because there have been a few, I mean, the film Megan, let's put it that way, which is all about the doll, which might have been, a computer that's effectively gone AWOL and outclassed the humans and all out of control. But often the script itself can be very kind of generic. So it's almost like playing that game with us. Like, do you know whether even this movie, is effectively designed by a human, whether artificial intelligence is behind it? It's a very clever, multi-layered film. But when you think, we've been talking about this on Kent Tonight and also on the morning show earlier in the year, about films where, through AI, you can effectively, and certainly CGI, you can create actors who may have, in something like Oliver Reed in Gladiator, passed away. So there are ways of putting them back into the narrative that weren't there. So, and that's why the Hollywood writers' strike a few years ago was big, because it was the sense that actually maybe we don't need writers anymore because we can use computers to do the job for us.
All right, the weekend's coming up, Friday night tomorrow, maybe even tonight. People want to head to the cinema. What's your suggestion for this week? What should they be watching?
Well, the film that I was talking about the other week, Weapons, which I'm actually going to watch again tonight. I noticed that some of the cinemas are doing a Christopher Nolan series. They're showing Interstellar tonight. Batman Begins is out there as well. But I'm actually really looking forward to a film called Sorry Baby, which is showing at the Curzon in Canterbury. You mentioned Sundance a moment ago. One of the best films that I've seen, which raises some very difficult questions around trauma and pain, but situating it in a very believable context and the implications many, many years later.
Chris, thank you so much for your time. Just quickly before we go, what's a good kids movie at the moment?
Oh, you asked me that question last week. Now, that's a good one. Superman, I think, is a good one that can appeal to adults and children alike. Also, the Fantastic Four is still doing the rounds, and How to Train a Dragon.
There we go. We had a bit longer than I thought we did, so I thought I'd ask you a quick last bonus question. Yeah. But there we go. We are actually now